We give praise, glory, and honor to the Most High Yahweh, Yahushua HaMashiach. And look at John chapter 5, verse 39. And it says, search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Father's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. Now, me and Pell were just talking about this, and we'll look at that real quickly. He said, if another come in his own name, you will receive him. Let's look at Psalms 118 first, and then Exodus chapter 34 behind it. Psalms 118 and about verse 22. It says, the stone which the builders refuse has become the headstone of the corner. This is Yahuwah's doing. It is marvelous in our eyes. This is the day which Yahuwah hath made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Save now, I beseech thee, O Yahuwah. O Yahuwah, I beseech thee, send now prosperity. Baruch be he that cometh in the name of Yahuwah. We have baruched you out of the house of Yahuwah. Before we look at Exodus 34, he say, blessed is the man that come in the name of Yahuwah. Now, I'm going to read something real fast. Real fast. Give me 1 second. We're going to look at Yahushua's name spelled all the way out, because it says he comes in the name of Yahuwah. Give me a second to find it. I just looked at it. Good grief. That is not it. That is not it. Man, I just had this ready. All right, here we go. So when we look at the name of Yahushua, we're going to first thing we're going to start off with is the Yod. It's the hand of the supreme authority doing the work. And the Hey, to reveal and make evident. And the U, binding or weaving together the instrument used to accomplish. The Shin, the Ruach, or the being of the Most High. And the Ayin, or to perceive or regard the heart of desire. So what we get out of this here is the hand of supreme authority is established, revealing or making known the name that we must call upon by the vessel or instrument joining together, causing a transformation of the inner being. Now we know also for Yahuwah it's the Yod, the Hey, the U, and the Hey again. You know what I'm saying? And we just sit back and we look at that. So when he say he's coming in his Father's name, he's coming to reveal the authority and to make it known so a transformation can be made inwardly. So this is what he's coming in the name of Yahuwah for. Before we look at something else, let's look at this Exodus 34, because I had Luke 19 in my head. But let's look at Exodus 34 first. Now, I just was talking with somebody about this, and Pell had mentioned it and just mentioned it again. When we don't actually know Mashiach, when somebody comes imitating him, then of course you're going to go after him. That's why he said, I come in my Father's name. If somebody come in their own name, you'll receive them. This is what we were talking about the beast. The beast going to be coming in his own name. He's not coming in the name of Yahuwah. And people are going to receive him. We look at Exodus 34 and 5. It says, Yahuwah descended in the cloud and stood with him there and proclaimed the name of Yahuwah. And Yahuwah passed by before him and proclaimed, Yahuwah, Yahuwah Elohim, merciful and gracious, long-suffering, abundant in goodness and truth, keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin, that will by no means clear the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children's children, unto the third and fourth generation. Now, we dealt with this before, so we look at merciful, long-suffering, but abundant in goodness and truth. So the first thing we need to look at is John 8:44, and we need to look at the serpent. John 8:44. We'll make it 43 or 42. Yahushua said unto them, if Elohim were your father, you would love me. For I proceed forth and came from Elohim. Neither came I of myself, but he sent me. Which is why he was coming in his name. Why do you not understand my speech? Even because you cannot hear my word. Ye of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. And when he speak a lie, he speak of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. And because I tell you the truth, you believe me not. Which of you convince me of sin? And if I say the truth, why do you not believe me? He that is of Elohim hears Elohim's words. Ye therefore hear them not, because you are not of Elohim. This is why he say, I know you. The love of Elohim is not in you. When we look at a lot of these people, who when the beast come and manifests itself and he do these things and they follow after him and they wonder after him, talking about who is like unto the beast, they're going to follow after him because they have no desire to walk in the word. Now I'm going to flip it a little differently because there's a verse in Proverbs 28:10 that I want to deal with. And what it's dealing with is the reward of those who lead people astray. Now it's going to mention the righteous in the verse. But there's a penalty for people who come and lead people astray, who are in the right way and lead them in the wrong way. The Most High going to deal with them in a particular fashion, and it's not going to be good for them. Something this came in my mind, and that's Shemuta, Exodus chapter 3. Let's check that out. Let's see what Moses do. See if Moses came in the name of Yahuwah, just like Yahushua did. Exodus 3 and 11. Make it 3 and 10. Hello? That thing dropped. Exodus 3 and 10. They say, come now, therefore, I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou might bring forth my people, the children of Yasharal, out of Mizraim. Moses said unto Elohim, who am I that I should go unto Pharaoh, and that I should bring forth the children of Yasharal out of Mizraim? He said, certainly I will be with thee, and this shall be the token unto thee. He said, this will be the sign. Let's make sure, so that's the word there. Because he said, this is going to be the token. Now, we just been talking about the token. Remember what we just looked at, the Yahushua's name, and that it's going to reveal the authority and the essence of his being. He said it's going to be the token. Wrong verse. Ain't wrong verse. Verse 12, what I wanted. And that's that word. It's the oath. It's the distinguishing mark and banner. So this is the token that Yah gives to Moses. He says, and certainly I will be with thee, and this shall be a token unto thee that I have sent thee. When thou hast brought forth the people out of Mizraim, you shall serve Elohim upon this mountain. Moses said unto Elohim, behold, when I come unto the children of Yasharal, and shall say unto them, the Elohim of your fathers have sent me unto you, and they shall say unto me, what is his name? What shall I say unto them? Elohim said unto Moses, I am that I am. And he said, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Yasharal, I am, have sent me unto you. Elohim said, moreover unto Moses, thou shalt say unto the children of Yasharal, Yahuwah Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, the Elohim of Jacob, has sent me unto you. This is my name forever. And this is my memorial unto all generations. So the token or the sign or the mark or the covenant that he made, he said, you'll worship upon this mountain. So just look at Hebrews chapter 12 and about verse 26 to see the sign of this token or this oath or this mark, this distinguishing mark. And then when we look at the place that's mentioned in Hebrews chapter 12, we'll see something about it, and it's going to go again to correlate about having this man's name in your forehead. Hey, Lamont. Lamont, you hear me? Hebrew 12 and 24. No, 12 and 22. He said, but you are come unto Mount Zion, and unto the city of the living Elohim, the heavenly Jerusalem, and to a company of an innumerable company of Malachim, to the general assembly and house of the firstborn, which are written in Shamahim, and the Elohim, the judge of all, and to the Ruachs of just men made perfect, and to Yahushua, the mediator of the new covenant, and to the blood of sprinkling that speak of better things than that of Abel. Now he stated that this is the token, that they'll know that he sent Moses, or sent him that was drawn out of the water, just like Mashiach was drawn out of the water, as forth is pointing, like we're pointing to Jonah, drawn out of the Ruach, or drawn from depth, the symbolizing of immersion. We need to sit back and look at, matter of fact, I'll do that right now. But when he say that Yahushua is the mediator of the new covenant, built on better promises, that promises is Mount Zion, or Jerusalem. Jerusalem is the city where he placed his name at. So therefore the name of Yahuwah is in that place. Therefore, the only person who can bring you into that place is Yahuwah, or him whom he sends in his name. Because he said Moses was coming in his name to bring the people to worship him upon that mountain. Yahushua is the one to come to bring you to worship this man in this mountain. Let's look at YAHUAH, Isaiah chapter 2 and 1 to validate that. And then we'll look in Exodus chapter 1 to show you something real fast. Isaiah 2 and 1. He said, the word Yeshayahu, the son of Amos, saw concerning Yehudah and Jerusalem. It shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of Yahuwah's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow into it. Well, we know that's dealing with sitting back looking at Mashiach. He's exalted above all because he's given a name above all names. And at the name of Yahushua, every tongue should confess and every knee should bow. And that all people will flow unto him if their soul's going to be saved. And the people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of Yahuwah, to the house of the Elohim of Jacob. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion shall go forth the Torah and the word of Yahuwah from Jerusalem. So we see this is the mountain, and this is the token, this is the oath. The land is attached to the covenant. It's attached to the blood. When they put the Passover lamb, put the blood on that door, that was to bring them out and bring them into the land which he swore to our fathers. Hello? Same thing that Mashiach came to do. Let's look at Exodus chapter 1. Look at something since I said something about being drawn out the water. Exodus chapter 1, about verse 18. Actually, Exodus chapter 2, verse 1. And there went out a man of the house of Levi and took a wife, a daughter of Levi. And the woman conceived and bare a son, and when she saw him that he was a goodly child, she hid him 3 months. And when she could no longer hide him, she took him for him an ark of bulrushes, and daubed it with slime and pitch. and put the child therein, and she laid it in the flags by the river's brink. And his sister stood afar off, to wit, what would be done to him. And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river. Her maidens walked along by the riverside. And when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it. And when she had opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the babe wept. And she had compassion on him. This is one of the Hebrews' children. Then said his sister, the Pharaoh's daughter, shall I go and call thee a nurse of the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for thee? And the daughter came to her, go, and the maid went and called the child's mother. And Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, take this child away and nurse it for me, and I will give thee thy wages. And the woman took the child and nursed it. And the child grew, and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter, and she became her son. And she called his name Moses, and said, because I drew him out of the water. Now, when we sit back and look at something, there's something that go along with that. Look at Revelation chapter 12. Revelation chapter 12. Revelation chapter 12, about verse 3. We'll make it by verse 2. See, say, she being with child, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered, there appeared another wonder in Shamahim. Behold, a great red serpent, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of Shamahim, and did cast them to their rats. And the serpent stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. It's the same thing we seeing with Moses, that they were ready to devour this child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up under Elohim into his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of Elohim, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. Well, it's the same way that this serpent seek to devour this woman's child. And then there was a place for the woman to sit back and feed, because the child was caught up and taken away. Same way Moses was caught up and taken away and was nursed somewhere else, that he would not be destroyed, because he had to end up being the one who came in Elohim's name. And Mashiach followed the same pattern that Herod tried to follow. But what we're looking at when we see him being drawn from the water, we even see the women coming down to the place where the child was placed and seeing it. Like the women came to the grave. Because we'll look in Jonah chapter 2 and see the instance of what I'm talking about. Jonah chapter 2. And what we're looking at is actually the favor of the graciousness of Yah, that he spared this child like he spared Mashiach, and then in turn spared our lives. And we'll look in Titus chapter 3 when it comes to that. So that when we see him coming with that mercy or that grace or that favor, and then we also look at Moses coming with mercy, and then see Yahushua coming with mercy. So they're coming in the name of Yahuwah because he proclaimed the name of Yahuwah. Now we also going to sit back and look at the serpent doesn't do this. The serpent comes like a lamb, but he's coming with flatteries, he's coming with lies. And he's going to try to mimic what's in the word. That's why he's saying, we'll sit back and look at places where we followed after idols. If somebody come in the name of another God, we going to listen to that. We say if he come in his own name, you will receive him. But you will not receive the one that come in Yahuwah's name. And that's what's going to happen in the end. That somebody is going to come speaking in their own name. And that's who the people are going to receive. They will not receive the people coming in Yahuwah's name. Just like I was telling somebody, what we were just talking about. The whole purpose of us going through the scriptures to know the son of Elohim is that when the man come to imitate him, we will not be deceived because we will know better. That's why he say, I have told you before. You will not fall for an imitator because you'll know what the book say. You know that he's not coming back to do this. A lot of people will be deceived and taken down because they're going to believe that this is the one because of the ignorance of the scriptures. Jonah chapter 2 though, about verse 4. He said, then I said, I am cast out of thy sight, yet I will look again towards thy Kadesh temple. The waters compass me about, even to the soul. The depth closed me round about. The reeds wrapped about my head. I went down to the bottom of the mountains. The earth with the bars was about me forever. Yet thou hast brought up my life from corruption, O Yahuwah my Elohim. And when my soul fainted within me, I remembered Yahuwah, and my prayer came in unto thee, unto thy Kadesh temple. They that observe, listen what he says, they that observe lying vanities forsake their own mercy. That's what people don't sit back and realize. When you observe lying vanities, you're going to forsake your own mercy. And when you forsake your own mercy, you're going to be in trouble. Let's look at something about what the word vanity here in Hebrew. Let me pull this up. Jonah 2:8 in the little concordance. Vanities, we have the word hevel. It means vapor or breath. Vapor or breath. And I got something on deck for that. Hold on. Something I wrote out it got wrote out in Hebrew for this. Vapor or breath is what this word means. Vapor or breath. See, you was going to have to make a separation. See, I had something else in mind, but I'm going to hold it. Like I said, now vanity in Hebrew is havel. It means vapor, breath, vapor, or worthlessness. So when we spell it out, we have the hay, which is the look or behold, the bat, or the house, and the lamad, or the staff, or control. So we have breath going towards, or mere breath within going on its way out. So look at Jeremiah chapter 2 and about verse 1. Because he said, if you observe lying vanities, you forsake your own mercy. So if you observe wasted breath or lies, you forsake your own mercy. This is what this man is coming to do. Again, this is going right back to what he just stated. Now we're going to get back to the drawing up out the water, because we realize what this is talking about is basically the resurrection of Mashiach and our immersions into his death are being drawn out of the water. And then eventually going up and down in his name. But I got to deal with this thing in Jeremiah chapter 2 verse 1 about vanities. Wasted breath. We still got Titus chapter 3 on deck, and we'll get Titus 1 while we over there, when we get to Titus 3. But Jeremiah, Yahuwah chapter 2 verse 1, listen to what he tell you. Moreover, the word of Yahuwah came to me, saying, go and cry in the ears of Jerusalem. Thus saith Yahuwah, I remember thee, the kindness of thy youth, the love of thine espousals, when thou went after me in the wilderness, in a land that was not sown. Yasharah was Kadesh unto Yahuwah, and the first fruits of his increase. All that devour him shall offend, evil shall come upon him, saith Yahuwah. Hear ye the word of Yahuwah, O house of Jacob, and all the families of house of Yasharah. Thus saith Yahuwah, what iniquity have your fathers found in me, that they are gone far from me, and have walked after vanity, and have become vain. Neither said they, where is Yahuwah that brought us out of the land of Mizraim, that led us through the wilderness, through a land of deserts and pits, through a land of drought and of shadow and of the shadow of death, through a land that no man passed through, and where no man dwelt. And I brought you into a plentiful country, to eat the fruit thereof and the goodness thereof. But when you entered, you defiled my land and made mine heritage an abomination. The priest said not, where is Yahuwah? They that handled the law knew me not. Now remember, this is going right back to what this man just told the scribes and Pharisees when he was speaking to him in the 5th chapter of Yochanan, or John. This man say, search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me, and you will not come unto me that you might have life. They handled the Torah, they knew him not. The same people that's handling the book now don't know the man. So when this person comes with vanity or wasted breath, he say, what iniquity have your fathers found in me, that they went after vanity and became vain? You went after worthless words. You went after worthless things, things that could not profit to bring you to salvation, the things of people who come in their own name. Listen to the next thing he said, though. He said, the priest said not, where is Yahuwah? They that handle the Torah knew me not. The pastors also transgressed against me. And the prophets prophesied by Baal and walked after things that do not profit. Now, if we observe lying, and you know, it's a lot of lying, worthless things being spoken. I can think of many. You got dudes who claim they know the Hebrew, teaching people Hebrew, all that type of stuff, and tell people you ain't got to keep the law, you ain't got to do this, just love. That's vanity. That's worthlessness. That's a lying vanity. You observing that, you're forsaking the mercy of Yahuwah. Because we know what the law say. He showed mercy to thousands of them that keep his commandments. His commandment is to believe on his son. His son gave the instruction of love Yahuwah thy Elohim with all thy heart and all thy soul, and to love thy neighbor as thyself. He said the whole Torah hang on these commandments. So how can we say love and then disobey the man's instructions? Because if you know him, we would already know. We got an example of this, right? First example is with Ezekiel. When he told Ezekiel, I give you man's dung to eat. He said, I've never eaten anything abominable or unclean. It's never came into my lips. Why? Because he knew the Torah. He knew full well, boy, Yahuwah would not tell me to do anything of this sort. The same thing when Peter did not understand the vision. The one thing he did know, Mashiach ain't finna tell me to eat no unclean beast. I don't know what this vision means, but I know he's not going to tell me to do that. Because when we look at the breath of Yahuwah, it's not worthless. The breath of Yahuwah is literally his ruach. Ruach literally means breath. That which gives life. When we observe lying vanities or lying breath, we observe the things that are of death. That's how you forsake your own mercy. That's why I say they prophesied in the name of Baal. They came in their own name. The people received them. That's not good. Let me knock this Titus chapter 3 out, and we'll come back to Jeremiah chapter 2 and look at some of this stuff, and we'll knock Titus chapter 1 out while we're over here. Let's go to Titus chapter 3. Titus chapter 3. And verse 1. We'll do verse 1. Titus 3 and 1. Put them in mind to be subject to principalities and powers, to obey magistrates, and to be ready to every good work, to speak evil of no man, to be no brawlers, but gentle, showing all meekness unto all men. When we look at Yahuwah, we even sit back and we look at Mashiach, where he showed meekness and gentleness to the people. We sit back and look at Yahuwah brought us through the wilderness, showed us much gentleness. It was something I was going to touch on tonight, but I'm going to hold it. But I'll tell you a little bit what it is before we go into great detail. You know, Mashiach say, if you thirst and you hunger after righteousness, you shall be filled. Well, we'll sit back and look at that. That's coming from the law. And it was pointing to something else later on down the line. Because when we hunger and thirst for that righteousness, when we hunger for the word and we hunger for this man Ruach, we can be quenched and we can be filled. And so when we sit back and we see these things, we begin to see the manifestation of the total essence and power of Yahuwah through Yahushua, because he's going to reveal all these things to us. Same way we look like, that's what Hayel means. This man is coming to teach us this, that his mark may be in our hands and in our forehead, that his word will always be in remembrance. The reason why a lot of people get deceived and follow after, it's like this here, and follow after any and everything, is because they don't keep the man's name in remembrance. You know what I'm saying? They don't keep the man's name in remembrance. And because they don't keep the man's name in remembrance, that's why it's a lot of striving and arguing about things and no consequence. That's why people argue about who is Esau. And did Esau eat bloody meat or was it lentils? You know what I'm saying? The book say clear as day it was lentil soup, and niggas talking about this man was eating raw meat. Ain't never sat back and thought, why would Jacob be cooking raw meat? Jacob know the law. Jacob wouldn't even serve the man raw meat, because that would be a sin. That's dumb. That's dumb to even think that. So people argue about how many wives you can have. You know what I'm saying? Arguing about all these things, and yet at the end of the day, you don't know your Elohim. So when this man comes in his own name, you possibly would receive him, because he ain't going to be no Caucasian. You know, a lot of them New World Order books and all them end-time Christian stories, the person's always white. Well, the person ain't going to be white. Because we know the Most High already know this man coming to deceive the elect and to cause those who are the Kadesh covenant to forsake it. Ain't no Caucasian. We ain't finna listen to no Caucasian, not in these days and times. He gonna have to look something similar to us. Verse 3 though, for we ourselves were also sometimes foolish, disobedient, deceived, serving diverse lusts and pleasures, living in malice and envy, hateful, hating one another. But after that the kindness and love of Elohim our Savior toward man appeared, not by works of righteousness which we have done, but according to his mercy he saved us by the washing of regeneration and renewing of the Ruach HaKodesh, which he shed on us abundantly through Yahushua HaMashiach, our Savior. Well, we turn around and we sit back and look at that. We know that. What we want to lose. Look at Acts chapter 7. I'll do it like that before I come back to Titus chapter 1. To sit back and read something to show forth how Moses was a savior, and then him taking us through the Red Sea was the regeneration or washing of the Ruach HaKodesh, showing what's to come, showing again the mercy and kindness to show how Moses came in the name of Yahuwah and Yahushua HaMashiach coming in the name of Yahuwah. And they sit back and look at this because they're declaring his name. So since they're declaring his name, they're showing the works, because what Moses and Yahushua would come to do was bring us to the mountain. Bring us to the mountain, bring us to Mount Zion, bring us to the token or the oath or the sign of the covenant or the remembrance. There's a verse in Jeremiah. He say, and we'll look at it too. He say, when you flee, yet Jerusalem come into your mind. Because that's the token. And what is there? It's the remembrance. That's the sign in your, that's the mark in your forehead. But if you observe lying vanities, then Jerusalem will not come into your mind, because you will not be seeking to come there, because you have observed lying breath. That's why he said the flesh profited nothing. He said the words that I speak unto you, they are ruach and they are life. They are breath. They are life. We have to, that's why he breathed on the disciples. He breathed that breath in them. That is life. Those that don't know him not and handle the Torah run, that's not life. Therefore, that's death. Therefore, you're forsaking the mercy of Yahushua. You're forsaking the blood. You're forsaking all that. The same way those in the wilderness forsook the mercy, observing lying vanities, observing worthlessness. Acts chapter 7. Look. What's the verse that we want here? Acts chapter 7, verse 35. Make it 33. Well, 32 better. Acts 7 and 32. Saying, I am the Elohim of thy fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, the Elohim of Jacob. Then Moses trembled and durst not behold. Thus saith Yahuwah to him, put off thy shoes from thy feet, for the place wherein thou stand is Kadesh ground. I have seen the affliction of my people which is in Mizraim. I've heard their groaning, and am come down to deliver them. And now come, I will send thee into Mizraim. Look what he said back, and he telling Moses, come, I will send thee into bondage, because I've heard the affliction, which is what we were looking at last Shabbat, the day spring. The day spring from on high, the light from on high has visited us. When we sit back, he said he led us through a wilderness of shadow and death, a place of deserts and pits. I've led you through death and the pitfalls and all of these things. And what did you do? You turned around and observed worthless breath. This Moses whom they refused, saying, who made thee a ruler and a judge? The same did Elohim send to be a ruler and a deliverer by the hand of the Malachim, which appeared to him in the bush. Now let's sit back and say, who made thee a ruler and a judge? Let's sit back and look at something with Mashiach, what they said to Mashiach. They said the same thing to him. Who give you the authority to do these things? Matthew chapter 21, because they refused him just like they refused Moses. Both of them were coming in the name of Yahuwah. Matthew chapter 21. And 23. Matthew 21 and 23. And when he would come into the temple, the chief priests and the elders of the people came unto him as he was teaching, and said, by what authority do thou these things, and who gave thee this authority? Yahushua answered and said unto them, I will also ask you one thing, which if you tell me, I and likewise will tell you by what authority I do these things. The immersion of Yachanan, was it from Shamahim or of men? And they reasoned within themselves, saying, if we shall say from Shamahim, he will say unto us, why did you not then believe him? But if we shall say of men, we fear the people, for all hold Yachanan as a prophet. They answered Yahushua and said, we cannot tell. And he said unto them, neither tell I you what by authority I do these things. Now we know Mashiach sat back in the 15th chapter of Matthew and the 7th chapter of Mark, and he sat back and said that the people serve him in vain for the doctrines and commandments of men. Because this is what the Pharisees came and do. They sat back and said, if you curse your father, law say curse your father and mother, you'll be put to the death. But if you do this, then you're absolved. Or you can do these things and bring this gold and silver to the altar and you'll be absolved. The doctrines and commandments of men. Because what any things end up turning in there is men end up coming in their own name, lifting themselves up over Elohim and end up getting themselves taken down. And people end up fearing man and not Elohim. Your faith end up being in man and not Yah. That's not how it's supposed to be. We'll look at a verse for that in a moment. But when we turn around and look at this here, look at some in Numbers chapter 16 while we still hold the title chapter 1. Numbers 16 and 28. And Moses said, hereby ye know that Yahuwah have sent me to do all these works. I have not done them of my own mind. The reason why we sitting back looking at it, because he asked them, was it of Shamahim or was it of man? Because if it's of Shamahim, that means it's of Elohim, it's of Yahuwah. I mean, that person is coming in Yahuwah's name to do Yahuwah's works. That means he's not speaking his own words. He said, he that have my word, let him speak my word faithfully. Because the words of Elohim are life. That's not a lying vanity when he's full of goodness and truth. That means the words of Elohim will do good to the person who hears them and applies them. He said, if these men die the common death of all men, or if they be visited after the visitation of all men, then Yahuwah have not sent me. But if Yahuwah make a new thing, and the rats open her mouth and swallow them up, and all that appertain unto them, and they go down quick into the pit, then ye shall understand that these men have provoked Yahuwah. And it came to pass, as he made an end of speaking all these words, the ground clave asunder that was under them, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up in their houses, and all the men that appertained unto Korah, and all their goods. And they and all that appertained unto them went down alive into the pit, and the earth closed up upon them, and they perished from among the congregation. Now let's swing back to the type of this chapter, because it's going to show you something. They fell down into the pit. I'm going to work Proverbs 28 and 10, which I mentioned before. I'm going to work it a little differently what I intended to. And then we'll swing it back, make it all tie in together. Verse 1 of this same chapter. Now Korah, the son of Ishar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, and Dathan, and Abiram, the sons of Elab, and On, and the son of Peleth, sons of Reuben, took men. And they rose up before Moses, and with certain of the children of Yasharal, 250 princes of the assembly, famous in the congregation, men of renown. And they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron, and said unto them, you take too much upon you, seeing all the congregation are Kadesh, every one of them, and Yahuwah is among them. Wherefore then you lift up yourselves above the congregation of Yahuwah. And when Moses heard it, he fell upon his face. Now this man has taken the people and gathered them all up together to come against the one who Yah made to be a judge and deliverer, because he wanted that position. Now let's look in Proverbs 28 and 10 while we still hold in Jeremiah chapter 2 and Titus chapter 1. Now see what he said back when you look at Korah. Korah came with lying vanities or worthlessness, because he wasn't coming in the name of Yahuwah. He was coming in his own name. And the people received him when he was coming in his own name. It said, whoso calls the, this is Proverbs 28:10, of Marshall 28:10. Whoso calls the righteous to go astray in an evil way, he shall fall himself into his own pit, but the upright shall have good things in possession. Now, we just sat back and seen Korah caused the people to go astray. He ended up falling in the pit, and everything that pertained unto him and everybody who followed after him fell into the same pit. All because these people observed lying vanities, they ended up forsaking their own mercy. So we have to look at examples of that. When we observe lying, worthless breath, we forsake our own mercy. These people had done got the mercy of coming up out of Mizraim and being delivered and being prepared to enter into a land full of milk and honey and wells which you did not dig and houses which you did not build and vineyards which you did not plant. And they forsook that for lying breath. Because a man came in his own name and they received him. When Moses was sent in the name of Yahuwah with the token and they received him not. The same way the people sat back and they came at Mashiach and say, by what authority do you do this? And then we know them people stood up and say, hey man, let his blood be on our children's children. If you be the Mashiach, tell us. And when he told them, they refused to let him be a judge and a deliverer over them. He told them, let's look what Mashiach said before we even look at Revelation 19. Let's look at something Mashiach said in the 12th chapter, the 8th chapter of John. And then we'll look at what he said to him in the 12th chapter of John about his judgment. We'll look at it, sit back and see that because Moses was a judge and a deliverer. So that means then we're going to have to sit back and see, is Mashiach a judge and a deliverer? Because Moses came in Yahuwah's name, Yahushua came in Yahuwah's name. That means both of them got to be judges and deliverers. That means anybody who come against them is going to be leading the people astray, speaking lying words to cause these people to fall into a pit, which is what the beast is coming to do. John chapter 8 and verse 14. Ooh, boy. Yahushua answered and said unto them, though I bear record of myself, yet my record is true. For I know whence I came and whither I go, but you cannot tell whence I came and whither I go. You judge after the flesh, I judge no man. Yet if I judge, my judgment is true, for I am not alone, but I and the Father that have sent me. Now we know Moses was the one who judged. We can see that right there in Exodus 18. He said they judged after the flesh. They judged after carnal commandments, the carnal things of their eyes. They judged out after the Ruach, as we dealt with in time past in Yeshayahu 11. And that's a lot of times that's what we end up doing. We judge after the hearing of the ears and the seeing of the eyes and not righteous judgment. This is what the Pharisees did. That's why their judgment was always off. That's why he told you to have a just weight and a just balance. That we're having a just weight and a just balance, then you can judge properly and have a righteous balance with Yahuwah. Let's look in John chapter 12. Because we know Peter or Kepha told us in 1 Peter chapter 4, about verse 3, that Yahushua would come to judge the quick and the dead. And that he'll judge. He said, we know it. Paul even told us in 2 Corinthians 5, knowing the terror of the master, we persuade men. We all must stand before the judgment seat of Mashiach to give account of what we've done in his body, whether it be good or evil. Because all the matters of judgment came under Moses before he set captains up under him. He said, the harder things you bring to me. We know he was the one who delivered us up out of Mizraim. He the one who led us out. He the one who led us through the Red Sea for the washing and regeneration of the Ruach HaKodesh. We were supposed to come out new creatures, a judge and a deliverer, just like Yahushua HaMashiach. Both of them coming in the name of Yahuwah. Both of them that being the token of the covenant and the sign to be sealed in the remembrance of the forehead of those who believed. But what do? We'll receive somebody else who come in their own name, coming with the doctrines and commandments of men. 12 and 44. Matter of fact, 12 and 40. Make it 37. He said, but though he had done so many miracles before them, yet they believed not on him, that the saying of Yeshayahu the prophet might be fulfilled, which he spake, Yahuwah, who have believed our report, and to whom hath the arm of Yahuwah been revealed? Who have believed the word when the word had been revealed? Therefore they could not believe, because that Yeshayahu had said again, he hath blinded their eyes and hardened their heart, that they should not see with their eyes, nor understand with their heart, and be converted, and I should heal them. These things said Yeshayahu when he saw his esteem, and spake of him. Nevertheless, among the chief rulers also many believed on him, but because of the Pharisees they did not confess them, lest they should be put out of the synagogue, for they love the praise of men more than the praise of Elohim. That's vanity right there. They sought the praise of worthless breath than the praise of eternal life. They would much rather have the things that come from a man. And that's what a lot of people problem is, man. They want the esteem from man. That's why he said, how can you believe that seek honor one from another and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Yahushua cried and said, he that believe on me, believe not on me, but him that sent me. Same thing Moses said. He said, man, Yahuwah have sent me. You're not believing on me. You believing on the person that sent me. You're not following me. You following the person that sent me to come to you. And when he came down to them and spoke to them, they say, Moses, you talk to us, not Elohim, lest we die. So they know who sent the man unto them. But yet they did not. They would rather observe lying vanities. They would rather observe the things that were in Misraim. We want to go back. We want to go back. Go back to sin. Go back to worthlessness. Go back to worthless breath. He that see me, see him that sent me. I come a light unto the world, that whosoever believe on me should not abide in darkness. And if any man hear my words and believe not, I judge him not. For I come not to judge the world, but to save the world. He that reject me and receive not my words have one that judge him. The word that I've spoken, the same shall judge him in the last day. The word that Yahuwah spoke in the wilderness is the same word that judged them people. The same word that we reject is going to be the same word that will condemn us. Look at Romans chapter 1, about verse 21. No, Romans chapter 2. Two and 13. Make it 2 and 11. For as many have sinned without the Torah shall also perish without Torah. And as many have sinned in the Torah shall be judged by the Torah. For not the hearers of the Torah are just before Elohim, but the doers of the Torah are justified. Those who listen to the one who come in the name of Elohim, who come in the name of Yahuwah, they'll be justified because they will receive him and they will receive his instruction and they'll know what to do. That's why Mashiach say, I've told you before. I've already warned you about this. Will you hearken? Let's look at this Titus chapter 1. We're still holding Jeremiah chapter 2. One and 15. Titus 1 and 15. Unto the pure all things are pure, but unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure. But even their mind and conscience is defiled. They profess that they know Elohim, but in works they deny him, being abominable and disobedient, under every good work reprobate. Korah professed to know Elohim, but their actions showed they denied him because they rejected the one who was made a judge and deliverer. The same way that Mashiach said, if you loved Elohim, you will receive me because I proceed forth and come from him. I was sent to be a judge and a deliverer unto you, but you receive me not. Say, if another man come in his own name, you will receive him. You will receive him. So he said, you professing that, but he said, works you deny, the words that you speak in they vanity, you forsaking your own mercy. So let's turn around again and let's look in Revelation 13 again before we look in Revelation 19. This is what he means causing the righteous to go astray. It's why Mashiach said if it was possible, he'll deceive even the very elect. Those that are chosen, if it was possible, this man going to come through and deceive even them because he's going to imitate him so well that you might be like, hold up, boy, that might be him. That's why it pays to know Mashiach. Thirteen and 2. And the beast which I saw like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the serpent gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. All the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the serpent which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth and blasphemed against Elohim, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in Shamahim. And it was given unto him to make war with the Kadeshim, and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds, tongues, and nations. And all that dwell upon their rats shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. Now you notice that it said this man opens his mouth and blasphemies, blasphemes Elohim's name, blasphemes his tabernacle, and those that dwell in Shamahim. And he's going to speak great things. Remember what we looked in Daniel chapter 8. This man is going to understand dark sentences. The same way we can look and we can see the evil spirits knew who Yahushua was. They knew certain things of the book. Satan is going to give him this power to be able to understand that. We've already looked in Daniel chapter 11 where that man say he is going to instruct, or the word intelligence, he's going to teach. So if he's speaking great blasphemies and great things, he's going to be teaching great things against Yahuwah Elohim by way of our master and savior Yahushua HaMashiach. They're going to blaspheme that. And they're going to teach against that. And they're going to kill anybody who lives and preaches and teaches contrary to that. And that means he'll be coming in his own name, and the people will receive them. They will not receive those who come in the name of Yahuwah by way of Bahashem Yahushua. They're not going to receive that. Therefore, these people have forsaken their own mercy. So when we turn around and look in Revelation chapter 19, we're going to see how this man is causing the righteous to go astray. He's going to cause them to fall. He's going to fall in his own pit. And not only just him, but all those who follow him. 19 and 20. About time for another one, man. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, which deceived them that received the mark of the beast, and them that worship his image. And these both were cast alive into a lake of fire, burning with brimstone. We already know from Revelation 14, the people who listened to him, who took the mark, they went in, they going in there too, to be tormented forever. This is how you forsake your own mercy when you observe lying vanity, and you don't receive him that come in the name of Yahuwah. Let's go back to Jeremiah chapter 2, though. I'm finna wrap it up. Jeremiah chapter 2, though. Verse 6. He said, neither said they, where is Yahuwah? That brought us out of the land of Mizraim, that led us through a wilderness, a land of deserts and pits, through a land of drought and of shadow of death, through a land that no man passed through and no man dwelt. He said, nobody asked, where is this man that led us through deserts and pits and droughts and the shadow of death? Let's go back and look at something in Luke 1 and 70, 73, and then Matthew chapter 4. Probably about verse 20. Let's look at what he says when we talk about it. But we're going to drop all the way to about 76 to 75. He said, Kadesh in righteousness before him all the days of our life. And thou, child, shalt be called the prophet of the highest. Thou shalt go before the face of Yahuwah to prepare his ways, to give knowledge of salvation unto his people by remission of their sins. That's the same thing. Now, this is John the Baptist. This is the same thing Moses did. through the tender mercy of our Elohim, whereby the day spring from on high have visited us. The light has visited us, or the dawn, or the morning. It's the same way he say, I heard the groaning of my people in Mizraim. I will come down and visit them. I will show the tender mercy. So Mashiach standing on the earth to be the sacrifice, when he say, I am the light of the world. If any man abide in me, he walk not in darkness, he will see where he going. This man is sitting back showing you the same thing. The day spring has visited you on high when you were in a land of drought. Because he told the woman at the well, he said, if any man drink of the water of this well, he'll thirst again. If a man drink of the water that I had to give, he'll never thirst. You were in a land of drought, walking in a land of pits, a land of graves. He say, whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never taste death. Believe thou this? Because you were in a land of death. You were in a land of bondage. I led you through the wilderness, a land of drought, no water, and provided you water in the wilderness the same way he did with Mashiach. I came through, I provided you water in the wilderness, yet you believe me not. Moses gave water in the wilderness. Yahushua gave water in the wilderness. They believed him not. He came in Yahuwah's name. He didn't come in his own name. Moses not once came in his name. He say to give light to them that sit in darkness in the shadow of death, to guide our feet into the way of shalom. Look at Exodus chapter 23 about guiding our feet somewhere, because that's all he was trying to do. Exodus 23 and 20. Behold, I send a Malachim before thee to keep thee in the way. Maybe say there'll be a highway there, and it'll be the way of Kadesh, and the unclean shall not walk over it. We know say follow shalom with all men in Kadesh, without which no man shall see the master. And the way of Kadesh is shalom, because you will destroy the authority attached to chaos. He say, beware of him and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgression, for my name is in him. But if thou shalt indeed obey his voice and do all that I speak unto thee, I will be an enemy unto thy enemies and an adversary unto thy adversaries. For my Malachim shall go before thee and bring thee into the end unto the Amorites and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Canaanites and the Hivites and the Jebusites. And I will cut them off. Thou shalt not bow down to their gods, nor serve them, nor do after their works, but thou shalt utterly overthrow them and quite break down their images. And ye shall serve Yahuwah your Elohim, and he shall bless thy bread and thy water, and he will take sickness away from the midst of thee. We'll deal with that another time. I'm talking about something else. Neither shall cast their young. There shall nothing cast their young, nor be barren in thy land. The number of thy days I will fulfill. And I will send fear before thee, and will destroy all the people to whom thou shalt come, and I will make all their enemies turn their backs unto thee. And I will send hornets before thee, which shall drive out the Hivite, the Canaanite, the Hittite from before thee. And I will not drive them out from before thee in 1 year, lest the land become desolate and the beast of the field multiply against thee. By little and little I will drive them out from before thee, until thou be increased and inherit the land. And I will set thy bounds from the Red Sea, even to the sea of the Philistines, and from the desert unto the river. For I will deliver the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and they shall drive them out from before thee. When we going through this wilderness land of drought, no ruach there, no water, no life. Same thing Mashiach come and do. Doing the same thing. This is what he's sitting back, he's telling us that he's going to do for us. And we dwelling in the shadow of death. No man passed through there, no man dwelt. No man had ever passed through Yahuwah before till Mashiach came. No man had ever dwelt in the Yahuwah till Mashiach came. He turned around and did all this. This is what all this stuff was pointing to. Making of the booths in the wilderness. All these things would point to this. All because Moses and Yahushua came in his name to point to these things, that you will receive Yahuwah. That your faith and your hope might be in Elohim. Let's look at that in 1 Corinthians chapter 2 and then 1 Peter chapter 1. First Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 1. I know 1 Peter 1 and about 22. And I, brethren, when I came to you, came not with the excellency of speech or wisdom, declaring unto you the testimony of Elohim. For I determined not to know anything among you, save Yahushua HaMashiach and him crucified. And I was with you in weakness and in fear and in much trembling. And my speech and my preaching was not with enticing words of man's wisdom, but in demonstration of the Ruach and of power, that your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, but in the power of Elohim. When we turn around and you sit back and you look at it, right? Moses, hand got turned into leprosy. Staff got thrown down, turned into a snake, he picked it back up. All the plagues, the parting of the Red Sea, the Passover lamb, all these things is that these people's faith might stand in the power of Elohim. Not once did Moses come preaching with enticing words of wisdom of man or anything to bring honor to himself. Yahushua HaMashiach, the raising of the dead, the healing of the sick, the turning of water into wine, all the miracles that he worked, the feeding of the bread and the fish, all the miracles he worked, that their faith might stand in Elohim. Remember, he said, if you don't believe me for the work's sake, believe me for the word. He said, if you don't believe me for my words, believe me for the work's sake, that your hope and faith might stand in Elohim. He never came with the enticing words of man's wisdom. He just said what the word said, that your faith might stand in Elohim and not man. When the beast's coming, he's coming to speak great things. He's coming with enticing words to cause you to forsake your own mercy. 1 Peter chapter 1. One and 19. Well, 1 and 18. For as much as you know that you were not redeemed with corruptible things of silver and gold from your vain behavior by tradition from your fathers, with the precious blood of Mashiach, as of a lamb without blemish and without spot, who was truly foreordained before the foundation of the world, but was manifest in these last times for you, who by him do believe in Elohim, that raised him up from the dead and gave him esteem, that your faith and your hope might be in Elohim. So when he say he come in his Father's name and you receive him not, but if one come in his own name, him you will receive. This man is coming in the power and the authority and the works of Yahuwah. But we will not receive that. We will observe lying vanities, forsake our own mercy to our own destruction. Hallelujah for Yahushua in the word. We stop it right there.